What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Full Court Talk podcast. CJ's back. It's just us today, but we have a lot to talk about. There were so many things that happened last week, and my guy, Steph Curry,
Yes, sir.
62 points, man. He went off, but we'll get into that.
Mhm,
But we got 5 topics now. Forgot about
mhm.
the James Harden one, but the first topic today is: would you trade Jaylen Brown for James Harden? The second topic is the Raptors sit Pascal Siakam for disciplinary reasons. What do we think about that? Um, Topic number 3 is going to be the biggest surprises of uh, the first 2 weeks of the season, and should the Warriors be worried? And the last one is could James Harden be traded to the Warriors because of desperation? Now, would you trade Jaylen Brown for James Harden?
Man, I'll tell you this: I wouldn't trade Tatum, but
Yeah.
him and Jaylen Brown, like Jaylen Brown, he's been killing it like these past couple
Yeah.
games early in the season. But like Miles, he's not here, but as he said, it's James freaking Harden, dude. Like, if I'm the Celtics and like Danny Ainge has missed out on such blockbuster deals, like I'm doing it. The only thing is like James Harden doesn't fit their culture. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like Celtics, like being a Lakers fan, I'll give my hats off to them because the Celtics organization is a winning organization. You know what I mean? They've been there. They've been to the top of the mountain. They've been winning championships, and so like obviously James Harden is a tremendous player, but he hasn't accomplished any anything insignificant aside from an MVP, right? And so like if I'm the Celtics, I'm doing the trade, even though like Tatum and Brown like have a tandem going on right now. They're a tremendous duo. I still do it because like he's a generational talent. One of the best scorers that we've ever seen, one of the best scorers in the NBA right now. And I think on the Rockets side, I think they also win because like they're giving up somebody that doesn't want to be there, regardless of what he's been doing these past couple of games. Talking about James Harden, but you get Jaylen Brown who can play alongside John Wall because like as soon as you trade Harden, the next best player is going to be John Wall. Like you could argue for Christian Wood, but John Wall is going to be the face of the franchise because he's looking like his old self.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like if you pair those two up, high flying, slashing players, there won't be a lot of shooting. I'll tell you that much. But the offense will flow much more efficiently. It won't be awkward, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And like John Wall and James Harden were able to coexist, but it's just I think this is a scenario where both teams would win off a trade, but I think I'd give the slight advantage to the Rockets just because they're able to start fresh, and James Harden being a Celtic is just awkward in its own right. He doesn't fit the culture there.
Yeah, he doesn't at all. And actually, I
Yeah.
would I wouldn't do the trade. I'm super high on Jaylen Brown.
Hmm.
I think one of the best assets that he has is his ability to just score really quickly.
Yeah.
He's so good at breaking down the defender and getting past the defender or just rising above them,
Yeah.
and he does it really quickly, and he gets
Hmm.
quality looks off of it too. Last night he had 31 points on 13 of 16 from the field. He went off, and he was super efficient.
Yeah.
And I think in the second half he didn't even miss a shot. So it I get that it's James Harden because James
Hmm.
Harden he came off the couch and had 44 and 17.
Yeah.
But Jaylen Brown just fits that, like we said, culture better. But
Yeah.
with a guy like Jason Tatum who needs the ball in his hands, I think it would hurt, uh, James Harden's production as well.
Yeah.
And James Harden, he dribbles out that clock for 20 seconds and finds some shooter, right?
Yep.
So I think James Harden's one of those guys that is not going to fit on every team. He's going to
Yeah.
need his own system, and you need to play into the hands of James Harden to have him succeed.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown's one of those stars that I think you can plug and play.
Hmm.
Really good on defense, good on offense. And he's going to be someone that can get you 25 points a night and just do it
Easy.
efficiently. So
Yeah.
if I'm the Rockets and they offer me Jaylen Brown, I'm taking it in a heartbeat because I think
Oh yeah.
Jaylen Brown's going to be a star in this league. He's definitely going to be an all-star in the East. I don't know about the West yet just because it's so loaded.
Yeah.
but eventually he's going to be able to get there.
Yeah. I mean, going off on what you said, yeah, it would definitely hurt James Harden's production. But then, like, bringing him in for the Celtics is just, they would be two alpha dogs. Tatum would let him know from the start, like, this is my
Yeah.
team. But James Harden would say, like, hey, like, I'm the best guy here, clearly, you know what I mean? But it's just, yeah, like, Jaylen Brown is a microwave player that you can plug and play, like, pretty much any team, in my opinion,
Yeah.
because he's a two-way player, and James Harden isn't. You know what I mean? But it's just, like I said, like, I do have the Rockets, like, winning this side of the trade more so. But yeah, it's just Harden, man. Like, he's not gonna be a two-way guy over there, and it's just their production might go down just because they both are ball dominant players.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Danny Ainge, like I said, he's just missed out on so many opportunities that
He's
he's
going to be
probably just
desperate.
he's gonna be desperate to go into it. But you do make a good point. Because these are the type of guys that, Jaylen Brown, he's already built into the Celtics culture. You know what I mean? And they don't have a problem playing off one another. And you can even argue that if you trade Jaylen Brown away, like, Tatum would be upset.
Yeah.
Because that's his Batman and Robin duo. So yeah, but you're right. I mean, if I'm the Rockets, I'm doing it in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Exactly. Because, I mean, the Rockets, if I can get a young guy
Mm-hmm.
for one of our, I mean, obviously the superstar, I'd do it.
Yeah.
And especially a star like Jaylen Brown, you do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're just going to get role players and a pick, obviously it's not worth it because we don't even know what the Rockets are getting for Harden. And from what it sounds like, it's not that much. Like, they're not getting a ton of good offers.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens just because James Harden is such a, like, generational talent, but he's had so many issues off the court that teams just aren't interested anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
But, Pascal Siakam got benched the other night.
Yeah.
We talked about this a little.
Yeah.
It was still a pretty big shock. I haven't really kept up with the Raptors as much just because I've been watching the Warriors, but
yeah,
looking at them, they're struggling. Tempers are going to be flaring soon. They're 1-5 to start the season.
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry doesn't look very good. He's definitely showing his age.
Yeah.
And a guy that we thought would take a step forward off of his good season last season was Pascal Siakam. And now he's getting into foul trouble, fouling out the last two games. He's averaging just 16 points a game on 39% shooting from the field and 28% from three. He was 45% from the field last year, which is good for efficient scorer. And then his three ball was at 35%. So it's pretty bad. He's struggling a lot. And I think the bubble hurt him a lot. He kind of got exposed in the bubble, right? There's that joke going around that all he knows how to do is spin.
Yeah.
And it's pretty true. If you watch him, all he does is a simple spin move and he tries to get by you. As soon as you can adjust and step back, not much you can do for him.
Yeah.
And, like you said when we were talking, the comparison of Tyreke Evans and him is pretty accurate at this point.
Yeah.
Tyreke was a tweener between a point guard and a shooting guard, even a small forward, but he's still like 6'4", 6'5". He wasn't fast enough to guard the guards, but he wasn't big enough to guard the forwards. So that's why he never really succeeded after his breakout season.
Yeah.
And Pascal Siakam is one of those guys that's between a small forward and a power forward. So I think he's going to continue to struggle if he can't put on some kind of weight or kind of add some moves to his bag, because we know how good he is. He was really good next to Kawhi Leonard against the Warriors. And last season, he still averaged above 20 points, which is very difficult to do. And it was technically his team last year.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that for a guy that is a pretty smart defender that he continues to foul out.
Yeah.
And I think that has to be the reason why he was sat. And there's no other reason he would be sat. Because I don't think he does anything wrong that we know of. But it's tough because they're in a shortened season. You need to start out well.
Yeah.
If you don't start out well, most likely you're not going to make the playoffs. And the Raptors are looking like they're not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, it's crazy to see like how much the Raptors are struggling. I mean, they did lose 2 rotational bigs in Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka, and they invested in Chris Boucher and then signed Aaron Baines, right? But like in terms of Pascal Siakam, like he said, like he was doing so well last season, following up his curtain call of winning the finals, right? But something happened in the bubble, and as a result, he ended up struggling. He never really found his footing, and unfortunately, it carried on to the start of this season, which is kind of crazy because, like we both said, like we don't know like what's going on. I am assuming it's something more on the lines of personal issues,
Yeah.
and going off of that, like whatever personal issue that he may be possibly going through, it's obviously getting to his head because like you said, he's a great defender, but I think now he's thinking too much. He's overthinking every little play now. And so, like, rather than just relying based on instinct, he's trying to do a little too much, being overly aggressive, and as a result, it's not translating very well. And like, it's unfortunate because Pascal, he's a great player. He had 2 seasons where he won Most Improved Player, and then he was in the running to win it again.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And so, like, this is also a guy who dropped a double in his first finals game, like easy on a great defender.
Yeah.
But it's just, I think going forward, like whatever is going on, like, I'm not trying to downplay it, but he'll try to figure it out like as soon as possible because the Raptors are looking like they need any type of help, OG Anunoby, who was extended, like you could argue that he's playing much better than Pascal is, and they were very much higher on Pascal than OG. But yeah, it's really unfortunate because, the game that he fouled out, and then he acted out after he got fouled out, like that's what led him to being sat.
Yeah.
And you don't really hear a lot of NBA players being sat. These are grown men, who are supposed to be mature, who're supposed to go out there, be professionals, but he let his frustrations get the best of him. And, like I said, we don't know what's going on, but, in terms of like production wise, like he needs to pick it up because like you said, in a shortened season, if you don't start out well, it's not going to be good in terms of finding the momentum, especially in the East, because they have a reputation of being the weaker division. And so if you're not playing well, I know they're not at home, they're in Tampa Bay, right?
Yeah.
But like, it doesn't matter. Like, I feel like they still had more time to adjust over other playoff teams, and I know they have a new team, but just whatever's going on with Pascal, like I hope it's nothing too bad that he can't recover from because like he's too good of a player to not bounce back. And like, I did compare him to Tyreek. I also compared to MCW, Michael Carter Williams, who was averaging triple doubles, on the Heatles. And so like everybody thought like, man, this guy can translate from Syracuse to now, but unfortunately he ended up not being the same player. But hopefully like Pascal doesn't fall into that category because he still has the tools. He's a great defender. He can shoot. And, he, like you said, he just needs to add more to his back. He can't be that spin every single time, because I'm pretty sure like as a defender against him, you see Pascal dribbling, somebody's calling it spin. You know what I mean? And like, I would be annoyed, but yeah, he needs to add more to his offensive repertoire if he's going to help the Raptors because right now 1-5 is not looking so good.
Yeah. And with some guy with his length and his ability to shoot, you would think he could either rise over them or just get around them. Euro step, hop step, anything. But he's pressing. I think a lot of guys early in the season, they're going to be pressing.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into another team that's pressing. But, Pascal is a guy that I think he's going to be really good, but he just kind of needs to figure it out before it's too late.
He just needs to hoop. That's all it is.
Yeah,
he just needs to hoop.
He needs to just stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because, he followed up the game by that he got benched on. He scored 10 points.
And fouled out.
Out. So, and they needed him in that game, too. They only lost by 4.
Yeah.
And I think it sucks because Nick Nurse is a great coach. We've seen that.
Yeah.
This team is just very I don't want to say they're not bad. They're a good team. They're better than what they say, or the way they look at least. Boucher is going off. He's up to averaging like 20 points a game, something like that. He's going off. Aaron Baines probably shouldn't be starting right now. He's more of a bench big. I would start Boucher at this point. He's looking good.
Yeah.
But, going to the next topic, biggest surprises. This could be bad or good. I went with the Atlanta Hawks for the biggest surprise because I think going in, people thought they were going to be good, but they are starting out very well.
Yeah.
Trae Young looks insane. I've never been that high on Trae Young because as good as he is on offense, defensively, he gives up more points than he gets, right? He can give up at least 40, 50 points by himself.
Yeah.
And but he's a phenomenal passer. He has such great vision. He's an incredible shooter. And you got to give him credit because he is really stuck with this team and worked with them. But DeAndre Hunter has been really, really good. 16 points on like 55% shooting, like 40% from three. He's been amazing. And this is all without Danilo because Danilo has been hurt. Yeah. So I think it's just good for them because they've stuck with this young core and worked with them instead of just like being, I'm just going to flip them. Yeah. Because they still have Cam Reddish, who's able to score 15, 20 points a game on a given night. Bogdan Bogdanovic was a great signing for them because I think he's going to be really good. Danilo is still off the bench whenever he gets healthy again. Clint Capella traded for nothing. A good, perfect big to pair with Trae Young. And John Collins, another great big to pair. They're going to be a very scary team going down late because they're going to be one of those teams that has so many options on offense, and as long as they all buy in, it's going to be scary.
Yeah, I agree. Me, man, Cam Reddish, real Duke guy.
Exactly.
For me, I'm going to go with a disappointment. The Nets, 3-4.
Yeah.
After
such a great first week.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to tell you this, man. Like, I honestly believe that they could have went 7-0 or even 6-1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The losses they had, because it was a given that they're going to sit KD and Kyrie. Like, it was a given. But they only sat them one game together, and their record still doesn't like show of like how bad that was because like I said, it was just one game, and then like they're 3-4. And they got beat by the Hawks with a full roster. I mean, not factoring Dinwiddie, obviously, but KD looks personally like individually. I mean, KD looks like he's back.
Even better. He looks more fluid somehow.
Yeah, like it doesn't look like he missed a step. Kyrie's Kyrie. They've shown that they can play with one another, but last night against the Wizards, man, they had two opportunities to win that. Kyrie 3, KD jumper in the middle of the key, and like, obviously you can't make everything, but it's just these guys are like, the ones you entrust with the ball down the line, right? And the memes were just flying because Kyrie said, you know what I mean? Finally, right? Somebody that can make the shot down the line.
Yeah.
And that's the second time this season that KD's missed a potential game winner. First one was against the Hornets, right?
Yeah.
And speaking of which, who they also lost to the game that they sat. But it's a disappointment because it's KD and Kyrie, man. But
you expect them to hit that shot.
You expect them to hit that shot. But see, the thing is, like, they're not making it known of what the issues are like the Clippers did, because obviously chemistry is an issue, even though it didn't seem that way for the first couple games, right? Chemistry is still an issue. I'm pretty sure they're still trying to feel each other out, right? Because even though Kyrie did like a lot of games in regular season last season, essentially the team that went to the playoffs was without him. Obviously, KD was gone the whole year. He's still trying to get used to teammates because, I mean, let's be honest, like Kyrie is the only winner that he's playing with on this team, as opposed to when he was with the Warriors, Steph, Clay, Draymond, even Andre Iguodala, like those guys are all winners. They know how to play But, this is a Nets team that's only gone to the first round of the playoffs.
Exactly.
And so, I mean, yeah, there's going to be growing pains, and I know they're not going to handle it like the Clippers, but it's just a disappointment to me because I feel like their record should definitely be better. They should be the first team in the East and not the Hawks.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's my first pick.
No, I definitely agree. I mean, last night I think KD kind of rushed that last shot. I thought he could have used his length to get in a little closer.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was tough. To have your two best players get such clean looks and just plain miss it. And with Kyrie's shot, I thought it was a good look. That sidestep is nasty, but I think he had Rui on him. And if you have Rui on you, go to the cup. You're not down by 2 because you could eat. Rui's a terrible defender. You saw him get diced up by KD pretty easily. So I think, there's something to take there, but at the end of the day, they lost against the Wizards. It's going to be a tough learning curve, I think, because they're going to have to learn to play with each other. And it's easy to play together when you're winning, That's the best feeling. But when you're losing, that's when that's when the real test starts. So we'll see. But I think I chose another disappointment, but the Miami Heat, they have not looked good. I think they have 1 win, 2 wins. Jimmy Butler is kind of not looking great, but got to give them some slack because the Lakers have looked really good throughout the first couple weeks, but you got to remember the Miami Heat were gassed in that game 6 against the Lakers. They put everything out on the table.
Agreed.
Bam got hurt. Jimmy got hurt. Goran got hurt. Nothing to take away from the Lakers, but the Lakers were able to go a couple more games, I would think. In that game 6, Jimmy looked dead. He did just dead tired. Yeah. And so to come back in 70 days after a performance like that, it's tough. Yeah. They were completely spent as a team. And so even though that they were picked to be one of the best teams, going off 70 days rest is tough. And I think if they don't figure it out, they're definitely not going to be a team to beat in come the finals or come the playoffs even. Yeah. Their defense is really bad this year. They're allowing 111 points a game, and they're only scoring 103. So that same defense isn't back, and that offense isn't back. So it's going to be tough, but, they have some bright spots like Precious Achiuwa looks really good.
Another steal.
Yeah.
That's what it's looking
like. He looks really good. I think every game that he scored, he's at over double-digit figures, so he looks good. He looks really good. I think he's going to be a key piece going forward towards the end of the season, especially. But they need to figure it out and quickly because, like we said, if you start poor during this season, you're probably not going to make it back. Those 10 games that you're missing are very important. And so we'll see what happens with the Heat, but they're going to have a tough go to kind of turn this around.
Yeah. No, I honestly thought they were going to, start out really good, be on their revenge tour, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, I mean, injuries plagued them, so it's only understandable. But for me, my second pick for the topic would be a couple surprises. So I was kind of torn between choosing the Cavs and the Suns, but I'm going to go with the Suns because I only called earlier this podcast that they weren't going to make the playoffs, but man, yes, I am wrong. I was wrong. I'll admit it. They're 5-2. Chris Paul looks exactly what they needed to pair alongside Devin Booker. And I mean, can we even count him out anymore? Because the same thing happened last season. And although OKC did start 1-5, I mean, they ended up picking up the slack. But Phoenix, man, they look good. They compete. They're smarter. They're more gritty. And I think it's because of Chris Paul. We all know how he plays, so he's obviously extending that type of play to his teammates. But man, they look good. You know what I mean? Yesterday with the Clippers, they almost did it again. That's only their second loss, but the Clippers blew a lead again, and
30-point lead, 20-point lead.
Yeah, it was all over social media. Everybody was like, "Wow, is the score right?" And you know what? The Phoenix Suns said, "Hold my coffee," and it got a little chippy, but at the end, like Clippers, they're fortunate to hang on. But yeah, the Suns, man, like they look really good, and I honestly am recanting what I said from before. They are going to make the playoffs now. They're
Yeah.
going to be one of the teams. Just in terms of positions, I think that they won't be the 8th seed. I don't think they'll be the 8th
No.
seed. I think they'll be up there for sure.
Yeah.
Because I am, like, knock on wood, relying on Devin Booker to be healthy. CP3 as well. It's just DeAndre Ayton. Can he stay healthy? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And can he stay consistent? Because also, like, their positions, or their players at the 3 spot, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, like, they're holding their own. You know what I mean? Mikal Bridges is one great defender,
Yeah.
two-way guy, 3-and-D, definition of 3-and-D. And Cam Johnson, hated him at UNC just for this reason, because he can shoot. He can shoot that thing, man. And so, yeah, like, my one of my cousins is a big Suns fan. I thought he was trolling at first, but like, all power to him. But I do know one huge Suns fan. Like, I've known him since I was a kid. He's really happy with the way things are looking for the Suns. But yeah, man, like, you would think that after they lost their pieces, Oubre and, like, all the other guys included that were traded away, like, you would think that they're going to take a toll.
Yeah.
But it turns out that they're looking better than they did at the bubble.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, like, yeah, long story short, like, I also have the Cavs because, like, Darius Garland and Sexton are just one great duo, man.
Yeah.
Like, they're showing that, two guys in their 6'5" can play alongside one another and get buckets. And JaVale McGee too. Oh my God.
He's been looking great.
He looks great, man. I honestly was sad about him leaving. Him and Dwight, obviously, those are the bigs that I wanted to keep. But I mean, all power to him. Shout out to him for looking great. He had, like, an insane finger roll and one, looking like a prime George Gervin.
Well, don't
But
forget the top of the key 3.
oh yeah, top of the key 3, a turnaround jumper, air ball too. But yeah, like, all jokes aside, Andre Drummond, he looks good. Hey, shout out to me for picking him for fantasy. He looks great, man. Hey, double machine. He's looking like his old Detroit self.
Oh yeah.
Shout out Speak Easy. But yeah, no, honestly, like, all jokes aside, like, the Cavs look good, but I'm afraid they might look like one of those teams that just start good early and not be able to finish it through.
Yeah.
But the Suns are real. Like, they're the real deal. And, like, as long as they have a healthy CP3 and a healthy DeAndre Ayton, like, they can make noise in the West. And like I said, I'm gonna say it again. I was wrong. They're gonna make the playoffs. But yeah, Suns. That's my surprise pick.
Yeah, I mean, last night when I think Devin Booker had that snatchback on PG.
Yeah.
Jeez, that was nasty. Devin Booker is one of those guys that can get his own no matter what. He is one of the best scorers in the NBA. And to talk about the Cavs, Darius Garland looks really good. He's averaging like 20 and 7 right now. And I'm very happy he's on my team. I love Darius Garland. I think he's going to be a really good player. I think last year he wasn't utilized well, but this year he should be a lot better. And, Sexland is a real thing, man.
It really is. It really is, man. Honestly,
they're a great duo.
It really is. But if I had to pick one, I would definitely pick Garland. Like,
he has the tools.
He does have the tools, and, like, although Colin Sexton, like, he's a dog, like, he won't back down. Like, Garland is just, he's just a bucket, man. Like, you saw it in the summer runs with, I think, C. Brickley. Like, Garland, he was doing work, and, like, it actually translated to upcoming season. Game respect game, and like, I'm hoping that the Cavs can keep it up. You know what I mean? Because, like, it would be a big middle finger to LeBron, if the Cavs can find success. But I mean, like, unfortunately, I do think it's like a fluke. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to keep it up.
Yeah, but so far so good. Like, they're working with what they have, and they don't even have Isaac Okoro, who I had, like, as a dark horse candidate for Rookie of the Year. He's still injured right now, so I mean, hopefully, these young guys can keep it up.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be able to.
Yeah.
But getting on to the fourth topic, I'll let you go first because I have a lot to say about this. But should the Warriors be worried?
Hell yeah! No, I'm just nah, you know what? Like, all jokes aside, the Warriors, I will say that they still should be worried. And the reason being is that you have an inconsistent Wiggins,
Yeah.
who you guys, Warrior fans in general, and the team, I guess, like they obviously want him to take the next step.
Yeah.
Somebody that, getting drafted out of Kansas, the Maple Mamba, not RJ Barrett, this guy, original Maple Mamba,
Yeah.
who you guys want to take the next step, that be that two-way guy that you could pair alongside, Steph and Draymond, and be part of that core four,
Yeah.
That was envisioned from before the season. And so, like, yes, let's not forget, Steph is still Steph. He was on Human Torch mode yesterday after hearing all the slander, and like, he dropped 62. And my only concern is that he needs to drop 62 every night for the Warriors to be successful.
Exactly.
Right? Draymond, like, he's slowly starting to get himself back in there. 1 point, but 12 assists. That's, you don't see what he does in the stat sheet. You know what I mean? And so, like, obviously, the Warriors are getting counted out just because they struggled early, and I'm on there too. Like, because Oubre, like, very consistent, but you guys are 2-0 when he hits a three. So, but Oubre, like, I saw this tweet from one of my Warrior friends, like, who's a real, like, Warrior fans like yourself, Spence. Oubre is getting these dunks because Steph is creating so much attention, whether or not he is on fire.
Yeah.
And so I think as an NBA player, your job is to practice your shots, get in the gym, so you can drain that, because obviously the whole attention is going to Steph. And, like, we saw it in Dwayne Wade's tweet, the highest form of respect. All 5 Blazers are on Steph, and everybody else is wide open, right? But the Warriors should definitely be worried, because not only of Wiggins' inconsistency, you can also put Oubre's inconsistency there, but also because you guys have Steve Kerr, who has a certain set of beliefs that he wants to follow through.
Exactly.
We talked about this, man. It sounds simple, but I mean, James Wiseman and Steph PNR, book it, man. You know what I mean? Book it. Give more playing times to players that deserve it. And you said it yourself. Like Steve Kerr said, he wants to test out who else can play. Bro, you're trying to get into the playoffs again. There's no time for that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, in my opinion, like, I honestly think Kent Bazemore deserves more burn.
Yeah.
Wanamaker, like, he hasn't been making shots.
No.
So might shelve him, like, down a little bit. Cut his PT, give it to Kent Bazemore, because, bro, Kent Bazemore will get there. You know what I mean? He'll get to the line and he'll draw fouls.
I mean, did you see Bazemore yesterday when he was directing traffic? Yeah. Nobody would come and set the off screen for Steph, so he passed it off to the top, and he set the off screen.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you need. You need someone that's going to be able to get the ball in Curry's hands. That's what Bazemore does.
Yeah. No, I agree. And, like, obviously him and Steph have a chemistry, right? And, like, also, like, I love JTA. Like, he's obviously really Chris went down. Yeah, Chris went down, and then JTA took over his role. And, like, I would say that if I had to pick one word that I really like, I would go with JTA, because he competes every single night. This is a guy who got cut and was called back. I was like, hey, man, like, we're gonna need you for, like, the season. He's shown that he belongs, bro. Like, he competes. Steve Kerr has him on players like KD, Zach LaVine, and he doesn't even care. Like, okay, put me wherever.
Yeah.
So I really like him, because I feel like he is the definition of your guys' culture. Play hard, and I really like him. But yeah, Steve Kerr, like, we talked about him, like, he needs to move on from his beliefs and just let these guys loose, bro. Because what more do you have to lose? You know what I mean? You're trying to get in there. And so, yes, to answer the question, the Warriors, despite Steph Curry's vintage performance, I'll even say vintage now, the Warriors should be worried.
Yeah, I agree. Like I told you last night, I haven't seen Steph this aggressive in a long time. It's been a couple years now. But, like we said, he scored 62 in a game. That's more than Dame. That's more than LeBron. That's more than a lot of other players,
Yeah.
It's more than KD. Just put that out there, but
Yeah.
he did it really efficiently. He looked really aggressive last night. He got to the line a ton. And the Blazers just couldn't do anything last night to
Yep.
stop Steph, and that's one of the hardest things to do. But pretty sure Steph heard the slander, and
Yeah.
he took it personally.
For sure did.
But, on the flip side, is he going to have to do that every night for them to win the game?
Yes.
Like Draymond looked really good last night. He didn't need to do anything on offense other than direct traffic, and that's exactly what they needed. As bad as Wiggins started the season, ever since that Bulls game, he's looked a lot better. He's shooting a little more efficiently, and he's driving more, and he's not just driving into the body as much,
Yeah.
which is nice. Oubre still can't find a jump shot. I don't care if he makes 2 threes in the season. He needs to do it consistently. There's no reason he should be taking 5 threes a night. He's shooting like 8% from the 3-point line now.
Yeah.
That's horrendous. That's disgusting. There's no reason he should take 5 a game right now. But Oubre was really good on defense. He has been this entire season. And that's the only thing saving him right now because he's getting steals, getting deflections, blocking shots, and just he's guarding the best player every night and doing it well. In the first half, Dame had a terrible half. He was looking pretty bad. Obviously, he got it going. I mean, he had that amazing he was running full speed and just like pulled up, kicked his feet out. He looked great,
Yeah.
But I think the main problem here is Kerr doesn't have a set rotation yet. He's still figuring things out. And that's what practice is for. You don't need to go into a game and be like, we lost by 40, but I'm that much closer to a rotation. I'm so tired of seeing, like, Brad Wanamaker has been okay, but you have a young guy that can play point on the bench in Jordan Poole, Nico Mannion. Play them, get them some burn, get some PT for them. There's no reason that Jordan Poole shouldn't have played last night because he's been doing better than he started out last season. And he's a guy that I think can run the pick and roll really well. But, all in all, like, Wiseman looked really good. They're running the pick and roll constantly last night. That's exactly what they needed to do because you have a 7'1" guy with a 9-foot reach. Like, get him the ball at all times. And the only thing that Wiseman has trouble with, he's fouling a lot.
Yeah.
Which is it's going to happen. It's going to happen. No preseason, no summer league, no real training camp even.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. Yeah, he looked better last night because he was keeping his hands off of Dame.
Yeah.
But at times, when Dame drives, he's going to get a foul. He's just that kind of guy. As good as last night's game was, there were so many problems with the rest of the team that I'm still worried. This team just isn't where they need to be in terms of getting to the playoffs and all that. So we'll see,
Nah, man, I agree. Yeah. Like, it's so refreshing to talk to somebody that knows what's up, Hey, man. So, like, contrary to popular belief, like I said, with this new year, I really wanted to dial back, dial back on everything. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
But I do want the Warriors to find some success. You know what I mean? Like, I really do want them to have success. Like, the only reason why I said what I said is because, that person, you know what I mean? And, a lot of people make it so much easier to talk about Steph. But see, the problem with that is that I honestly feel like a lot of the slander is because of the position that they placed the guy in. He didn't say it himself. You know what I mean? Obviously, he didn't say it himself. It's people placing him on a tier that is almost untouchable unless you get there. And that tier I'm talking about is putting him alongside like MJ, Kobe, and Bron. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so sad that Miles isn't here for this, so he can clarify what I mean too. But like, you put Steph up there, and some people have him over MJ and Kobe and LeBron, and they're serious. They're not even trolling. Like, they're serious. They're dead serious. That's what I feel like starts the slander. Because if you're going to say that, oh, like, Steph is better than these two guys, that's when they're going to bring out his accolades, and then they're going to question his legacy and all that stuff. And it's funny because, a lot of people said that yesterday was a legacy game. Like, there's no way you can do a legacy game 5 games into the season.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's not going to be a legacy game. Like, a legacy game, in my opinion, is going to the finals with what you have and putting it all down the line. I think that's a legacy game, not 5 games into the regular season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So realistically speaking, like, yeah, the slander is all good and fine. Some people take it too far, it's NBA Twitter, all that stuff. But like, I'm gonna be the one to say, like, I really do hope that. Well, one, I was wrong with what I said about the Warriors possibly not making the playoffs. They still have a good chance. You know, what I mean? I hope that my first prediction is right. I really hope that the Warriors do make it in the playoffs. But like you said, Spence, like, Steph cannot be human torch mode every single night that they have a game.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he does end up doing that, and we know that he's capable of, what is he going to have in the tank when it comes to the postseason, right?
Yeah, you could just run a box and one.
Yeah, you really could. And so, like, in order for the Warriors to be on the path to making the playoffs and proving every doubter wrong, Oubre and Wiggins have to take responsibility, because we already know what Draymond can do. Yeah. And like we talked about Looney and how you possibly want him out. So I think the Warriors also still need to make moves. And it's kind of tricky if they do that because, by the time that they make moves, everything might be gelling, and making a move might hurt their stock. But, that's the risk that you're going to have to take with the roster you got. But
yeah,
I like how you brought up Jordan Poole too, because, Jordan Poole, in my opinion, is a natural point guard.
Yeah.
He's a natural point guard that you can have out there, So if, Wanamaker is not performing well, cut his minutes, give it to somebody else like him, you know what I mean? And have Kent Bazemore play off of Jordan Poole, because, Kent Bazemore can do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, Wiseman, like, ticky-tacky fouls, he's going to grow into that, growing pains for sure. But let's not be rash. Like, the Warriors are still capable of winning, you know what I mean? Steph showed it last night, and I feel like he's going to show it some more towards this regular season. But it's just, if you're going to talk about, not you specifically, just everybody in general, if you're going to talk about Steph in a certain way and hold him to a standard, then you got to play both sides of the field, man. You know what I mean? So it's just due diligence, common courtesy. But yeah, like, the Warriors, in short, they still have an opportunity to make the playoffs. I mean, like I said, it's 5 games in.
Yeah.
Let's not be rash.
It's not the end of the world.
It's really not. It's really not.
But, you got a lot of these Warrior fans that just became Warrior fans when 2015 came into play. And they're not used to seeing losses. You sat through last season, you saw a lot of losses. So it's and not even just last season. Like, before 2012, they were bad. Yeah. Before 2013, they were bad. You
not
get used to it.
Fry.
He said 2007. He said 2015, and then he went all the way back to 2007. He's like, they never been through dark times. It's like, come on now. Now.
He must have some sort of PTSD. I don't know, man.
He even coined the legacy game.
Yeah.
And, like,
he did.
Like, that's why I said legacy game, because people keep saying, like, oh, if he doesn't play well tonight, it's his legacy. It's like, come on now. Yeah. And, like, this just showed you can't doubt Steph. Steph's going to be one of those guys that he gets up for these games. But, it's going to be a good season. I'm excited for the rest of the season. Even tonight, they're playing the Kings. We'll see. It gets really tiresome when you see a lot of the Warrior fans talk about Steph's better than LeBron, Steph's better than Kobe, Steph's better than Jordan. Like, first of all, you can't put him in the same category as them, because they all play the same position at small forward shooting. They're wings, right? Yeah. Steph's not a guy that is going to be able to compete against him in the first place. You can put him in that tier for point guards, because arguably he's one of the best to ever do it.
Yep. I agree.
That's just how it is. It's hard to go from, like, you're not going to compare Shaq to Kobe. You're not going to compare Shaq to LeBron. He's the GOAT of the centers, like that.
Yeah.
You can compare wings because they're very similar in their positions. You
Yeah.
can't compare point guards to centers, point guards to wings. It's different.
Yeah.
But, I would never say that Steph's better than them. You can't say that, That's just how it is.
I will say this though, he is a generational talent, obviously, and he did change the way that the game is played. So there's no taking away from that. You know what I mean? There's no time and place where you can't say that Steph didn't change the way the game is played. And that's like IT said, like not everybody can do that.
Yeah.
So pay respects for that. But it's just like you said, for players or for fans to hold him to this sort of standard and then get like offended when he gets the slander, right?
Yeah.
Because as long as the slander is, appropriate and not taking it too far and just, being realistic, obviously not everybody can see it like that. Then it's okay because what NBA player doesn't get heat, right?
Yeah.
But you can also argue that he's one of the most disrespected superstars, which I understand. But that all goes down to these 2015 fans. There's a lot of them in my TL. I will, if I could, I could make a whole list. You know what I mean? The names will be there. But for the real fans like yourself and other real fans that I've known since I was a kid, like they know, like they don't even have to say much. And like you said, Steph gets up for these games. Like I'm pretty sure, like the night before he was scrolling through Twitter, like laughing, like like look what I'm gonna do tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just you can't put him in that category. And then when he gets disrespected, say, hey man, he was never like that. But so yeah, the rest of the season is definitely gonna be fun for the Warriors, man. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be up and down. It's gonna give
I'm
you
expecting it.
2014 vibes, I think.
Probably. But I'm just waiting for Clay to come back next season. We'll go
Yes.
through the season. Probably not, but we'll see. Plus we got that pick. Kate Cunningham to the Warriors.
Yeah.
I hope so, because we'll see. But this is a rumor that has been going on for a little bit, and apparently after the Warriors lost their first two games and kind of lost against the Trailblazers, apparently this has been reignited. But James Harden to the Warriors could be a real thing. Let's talk about what they give up. It would be Wiseman, Wiggins, and a couple picks. I personally am not doing that. I'm keeping Wiseman, man. Wiseman gives me Giannis vibes.
Yeah,
that's the bias in me, but man, he's just so long, so athletic, got a little bit of a touch outside, and he blocks almost every shot in the paint. So I wouldn't trade him for almost anything at this point, just because you have to think about the long-term issues that are going to arrive. Like Steph's not going to be there forever. Draymond's not going to be there forever. Clay's definitely not going to be there forever. And Wiseman looks like a guy you can kind of build around after it's all said and done.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't do this trade. And especially, I don't think, this might be like kind of a joke, but James Harden, I don't think he would play in California because nothing's open.
Yes.
Like, there's no strip clubs open. You can't even eat inside anywhere. So, like, is he going to be okay with that? Like,
exactly.
I think this would be, like, the worst place he'd want to come, especially the Bay Area after everything that's happened to him.
Yeah.
I don't think he would come. So,
yeah,
I don't think this trade makes any sense for both sides. Well, it makes a lot of sense for the Rockets, but I wouldn't do this trade at all.
Mm-hmm. Like you said, if I'm the Rockets, like I'm doing that trade, obviously. But if I'm the Warriors, like it just wouldn't make sense. They're giving up one of the only true centers that you guys have at this moment. Yeah. Obviously pairing Steph with James Harden, like man, oh man, that's a lot of buckets. It's a lot of buckets. And the only way or the only reason why I think it would work is because Steph has a resume of playing with other superstars. Yeah. He's fine with taking a back seat. He doesn't care. And if hypothetically they were to do this trade and Clay were to come back, obviously Clay would slide to the 3 position. Yeah. Harden at the 2. The ball would definitely be mostly in James Harden's hands because he's the only one that is ball dominant. Steph and Clay can play off the ball. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like I said, the only reason why I believe it would work is because those two guys, especially Steph, he doesn't mind sharing the ball. He just wants to win. You know what I mean? And yeah, like you said, like it's a running joke right now, but it's the truth. Like James Harden won't want to go somewhere where everything's closed.
Yeah.
You know, unless he's willing to fly to Vegas after like a game or before a game or
Yeah.
something like that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But yeah, the only reason why I can see this working is because those two stars with the Warriors, Steph and Clay, are known to have given a back seat to KD. You know what I mean? And obviously KD's a better player than Harden was, but yeah, I think it would disrupt the flow of the offense.
Yeah.
Steve Kerr, like, who knows? He might be a fan because his offense right now is kind of in question. Maybe he'll have Steph screening for Harden. Who knows, right? But yeah, I wouldn't give up Wiseman. Yeah, he's part of your guys' future of the culture that you guys are trying to rebuild there. But I mean, let me ask you this: like, if they include another center, would you consider the trade? Like, for example, like DeMarcus Cousins or PJ Tucker.
Even then, like,
yeah,
it's tough because I think the person that would have the most issue with it is Draymond.
I agree.
It would drive him crazy because defensively, we've seen Harden just like kind of like, stay at half court or like offensively.
Head scratcher.
if he doesn't get the ball, Harden's at half court just trying to chill.
Yeah.
He's not going to move without the ball. And I think that's huge for him, right? And especially in a Warriors type offense where ball movement is everything.
Yeah.
And I think Draymond would hate it. He would probably be like, I'm out, because playing with a guy like Harden is difficult as its own. But on a team that likes to play defense and offense, James Harden doesn't fit this at all.
It doesn't. It's good for buckets, not good for two ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think they'll do it in the end, but I've heard this rumor going around, and especially before the season, where they said as soon as Clay went down, they were definitely thinking about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, after seeing Wiseman in these first 6 games, I wouldn't trade him. Wiseman's been phenomenal so far. Even in his limited time, he just looks good. He looks really comfortable. So I'm excited for him.
Yeah. I don't see you guys trading him at all.
No, I don't think so either.
Say you guys keep him. That would be a smart thing to do. And, I think Draymond's growing fond of him too. And I think he has a lot to say, as much as Steph and Clay does.
If not more.
If not more, yeah. So I don't think, like, he's getting traded.
Yeah. So. But that's going to do it for the 26th podcast, our first of the year, actually.
First of the year.
This is a good way to start it, 2021. Yeah. It's going to get better. But thank you, CJ, for hopping back on.
Of course, man.
This is a lot of fun as usual. But, check our social medias down in the link below. And, like, comment, and subscribe. But catch you guys in the next one.